I am going to be talking today about the importance of personal branding and the importance of community. I do have a formal presentation for you, but at the end, we've got a lot of time for you to ask questions, and we can just chat informally. So, my agenda today is we're going to touch briefly on reader behavior and how it's changed, which is very important to you as a writer. We're going to talk about the importance of personal branding and just simply what it is and what you need to know about it. The rise of community. This has been going on for a while, but it's even more important now. Some simple things that you can do to go ahead and get started on this, and then we'll have a Q&A. So let's talk about reader behavior. I am going to bring up briefly an elephant in the room whose name is AI. I know this is a polarizing topic. Not everybody really cares for AI, and AI is producing quite a bit of content and putting it out into our world. We call it slop in my little world. The main thing we need to know about this is it is changing reader behavior. Not necessarily for the bad, it's just changing reader behavior. And a few things that we should all be aware of is readers are just overwhelmed with content. You have seen there is so much out there in the world now, and it's more and more is getting out there. And what is happening is readers now want to follow people, not necessarily platforms. So years ago, especially in the advertising and marketing world and an agency setting, everybody would just run from one platform to another. They'd say, oh, you got to be on Twitter. Everybody's on Twitter. So they'd run to Twitter, and then they'd run to TikTok, or now run to Substack. And it was all about what platform you're on and which platform is the best. That's not necessarily the case now. Wherever you are, people just don't want to consume generic information. They want a guide that's helping them navigate through something in life. Authority has shifted a bit. Again, people want something real. They want a real voice. They want a real face, a real person. And in the Christian world, they want to see real faith lived out. They want to see it. And communities are becoming more important, believe it or not, than publishers in terms of finding writers. So writers are now, they don't have to just publish something and hope that it gets out into the world. They're being found through newsletters, podcasts, communities themselves. All right, let's go into personal branding now, knowing that reader has changed. And why is personal branding even important? Why does it even matter? Well, it's basically your witness. It's your reputation that people see out there. Your brand, if it's clear, should be telling people who you are, what you stand for, what you write about, why your voice is different, and most importantly, who do you feel called to serve? A clear brand creates trust, and I want to point out that is something that AI cannot replicate. It also makes you referable. So we are relying a lot on word of mouth and referring these days. And if someone doesn't understand you or your brand, it's hard for them to explain it to somebody. So a clear brand can help them to, share information with others about you. All right, what is it exactly? I'm going to oversimplify here, but I understand that we've got people from all ranges of knowledge around marketing and the digital realm. So I am going to break this down and make it very simple. I've also included some questions for you to ask yourselves while we're going through these different components of what an author brand is. First of all, it's your message. And you can kind of ask yourself, what core truth or encouragement does your writing provide to others? It's also your identity. And you can ask yourself, who has God shaped you to be as a writer? and a communicator. It's your tone and your voice. So, what is it? What is your consistent relational style that you feel brings loyalty? Or it helps you to build loyalty with others. And here's a fun one. This is visual presence. I always find this one to be a talking point. Does your headshot, if you have one, your website or your social media presence, in the book, the picture that's on your book cover that you are about to publish, do they all feel like the same person? It's very important that we have consistency here, and people can remember that you are that same person. And this is a good point to bring up. I don't know if any of you have a marketing background, but we used to have a saying that for someone to remember a brand or a product or anything, they would have to have about 7 touch points. There's no real science behind this, but everybody says it in the marketing world. And then that basically means somebody has to see something 7 times for it to click and for them to remember it. And now everybody's saying 15 times is the average amount of touch points people need to remember something. Most importantly, a component of your author brand is your audience. And you can ask yourself, who do you feel uniquely equipped to help or encourage? All right. So knowing that, let's talk about the rise of community and where authors are now thriving. So community is the new platform. People are leaning into relationship and focusing less on volume. And this gets back to what I was saying. People used to think they had to be on X, or they have to be on Substack, or they have to have a website. It's not necessarily where you are, but wherever you are you building community, and are you building a relationship with the people that follow you? So what readers value most now is access. They want to be able to find you easily. They want interaction with you. And this looks like maybe if you are on Substack and people put a comment down, are you answering your comments? Are you reliable? Are you posting on a regular basis? This one's huge. On this slide, I'm going to share with you some of the examples that I have encountered while I've been promoting my passion project, Paper Tams. So I have been a content creator for 10 years on YouTube, and I have used that channel to experiment with a lot of content strategies and just do a lot of behind the scene things to see what I've learned. And I can tell you that the consistency in posting is huge now. So once you pick a platform, let's say it's Substack, and you promise to send out a newsletter every other week, people will expect you to have that published every other week. The days of just having a platform and posting something whenever you feel like it, obviously you can do that. Nobody's holding you back, but it's going to make it much harder for that reader to find you. And I'll give you an example. I did an experiment where I posted on the same days on YouTube for a given period of time, and I had a lot of people get used to that schedule. I had a technical glitch, and one of my videos that I had scheduled went up on the wrong day, and the only way that people found me is I had some viewers who were used to going to my channel on like a Monday to see me, because it's not showing up. It's not being served to them in their feed anymore. But the only way they saw that video is they knew to go to my channel on a Monday. They were looking for that video to come up on a Monday. People want to feel like they belong, and they want to feel like they're on a shared journey with you. And communities can do that. So in this slide, we're talking about what are you giving to your community, but let's talk about what you can get back from your community. If you establish a community online, you've got access to early readers. You have got support for when you finally launch your books. You've got a prayer network in the Christian community, and I can attest to this. I mentioned in a couple of my YouTube videos that I was a Christian, and I had multiple Christians reach out, write me letters, and send me wonderful, wonderful words of encouragement. So you do have a network there in terms of faith. You also can get word of mouth growth very easily if you've got a community established, and you can get long term loyalty. I have had people following my passion project work on YouTube for over 7 years, some of the same viewers watching over and over. All right, let's talk about an example of, what is an author community. And some of these you already know about, you've heard about them forever, and they might even seem boring to you. Email newsletters, people have been talking about email newsletters for years. They are still very, very important. And now I would even say maybe Substack can take over for traditional email newsletter if that's the route you want to take. I know that I have completely disabled my blog and website for my passion work, and I have moved it over to Substack, and it takes the place of my blog and my newsletter now. Another example is just a Facebook group, and it doesn't have to be Facebook, but it can be a private group on other platforms like Discord or Circle. There's tons of them now, but Facebook is the most popular. You can be a part of or you can start a local or church-based writing group and start your community there. Or you can do virtual workshops like the one you're on today and offer Q&As there for people. Okay, just remember, a community is not necessarily a crowd because crowds consume. A community is a space you create where people contribute, connect, and pray for one another. All right. I've got a couple of easy steps for you on how you can get started and do some things yourself. And some of these things you may have already done. The first thing I like for people to do is write a one sentence message or a mission statement or a vision for your brand. I find that to be very helpful. I also think that you should define your audience and their core struggles and needs, and go ahead and identify your tone and voice. And I'm guessing you probably have done that in your writing group that you work together. So most likely you're a little ahead on this. The next thing is to build trust through consistency. I've just mentioned that a few minutes ago, but this is so important. No matter where you are, if you just have an Instagram account, make sure that what you're posting is very predictable and has a rhythm to it. And, maybe start showing some of that authenticity and realness, maybe some real work, maybe some your things that give you writer's block, scripture that helps you to get through, that sort of thing. But you want to be consistent. If you're posting every Monday, keep it at every Monday. I do have some advice about how often you probably should be sending things out, but the point I'm trying to get across is make sure it's consistent. Things are just not showing up in feeds anymore on digital platforms, so people are banking that you're going to post consistently and with a rhythm. The next thing I would suggest is create what we're calling a home base. You don't necessarily have to have a writer's website. I mean, that's nice. But what you should have is one. You can just pick one of these, either an email newsletter, maybe a Facebook private group, a Substack. If you want to get fancy, maybe a podcast, YouTube, or even Patreon. And if you're not familiar with some of these things, I can explain them, but I think most people know what these are. And then once you have established your home base, you do need to nurture your community and get on a schedule, create a content calendar, share prayer prompts, invite testimonies. Ask questions that encourage people to respond in the comments. Respond to those comments. Host live chats. I know I've heard that a lot of you are on Substack, and that's my understanding that you are. And I tell you, that platform is amazing now. You can do live chats, you can place audio and have your own podcast on there. You can place exclusive videos on there and have your own little videos going on there. It offers a lot there. So if you are looking to leverage your Substack, I definitely encourage leveraging Substack. You can give your readers maybe some extras, maybe an early free chapter to some of the people that have been supporting you for a long time. It's important to give them something and let them know that you recognize that they've been following you on this journey for a while and that they've been loyal. And then I wanted to throw this this little statement in here because I know that writers especially struggle with the idea that they can be too salesy if they're like pushing their book or something like that in the marketing world. And knowing just what I've told you and knowing that there are people to need to hear your voice, I would think of it more that you're breaking through the noise, a lot of the noise that is being shown to people in this day and time. And the world needs your voice. It needs your lived faith, your story, your obedience. It needs your example. And so if it helps, maybe think of marketing as breaking through that noise. And I also see it, what I love about marketing is I see it as an extension of hospitality. So of your community, you're basically inviting people to come in and be a part of your community. And I hope that helps a little bit if you're struggling with any feelings of feeling too salesy, if you're trying to get out there on social media and push yourself and make yourself seen to the world. I don't think you should feel that way.